Alright, we're going to do this little video here. You know, I shoot that 17 Hm2 rifle. Now this applies to all rifles, what I'm fixing to say. But we're going to use the 17 Hm2 in this example here. You know, I make some longer shots with that gun with some wind blowing, you know. There's some things you can do. You can do some calculations in your head if you're good with numbers. You could make you a cheat sheet. Believe it or not, in the wintertime when leaves are off, you could take a calculator that's got the sine function on it. If you wanted to. When you're staking out squirrels at longer distance, okay? So here we go. The 17 Hm2, now we're going to use 5 mile an hour crosswind. It will deflect about 2 inches, very close to 2 inches, okay? You can try this. You can even shoot your gun after you zero with no wind. You'll see what I'm talking about. Now, the velocity could vary between some rifle barrels and ammunition, but for this example here, we're going to say 2 inches at 95 yards. Okay, so we already know what happens, you know, when the wind is directly at 0 degrees or 180 degrees. You're going to get very little effect, crosswind effects. Okay, what about a 45-degree wind? Well, with a deflection, believe it or not, you start changing the angles based on the sine function. So the sine of 45 degrees is what? 0.707. So 70.7% of 2 is what? 1.41. That's your deflection at 95 yards on a 45-degree wind. Okay? What about a 60-degree wind? Now, a 60-degree wind is not a direct crosswind, but now it's getting close. Well, the sine of 60 degrees is 0.8660. So you're going to get almost 87% of what you would get if the wind was blowing at 90 degrees, a full crosswind. Or you would get about 1.72 inches deflection there where my finger's pointing. Okay, what about a 30-degree wind? Now, that's a wind that's in your face, but it's slightly, you know, it's slightly off to the side, you know. Some people may think that's a quartering wind. Well, you can think that, okay. Well, what happens at 95 yards with the Hm2 round? If it deflects with a 5 mile an hour crosswind, direct crosswind, 2 inches. Well, the sine of 30 degrees is 0.5. So you're going to get 50% deflection. 50% of 2 would be 1. So you're going to get 1 inch of deflection with a 30-degree crosswind, okay? Now remember, now the wind can be coming from behind you and create the crosswind effect too. You know, it's not necessarily all up in front of you. So what you can do is you can figure you a few numbers. You know, you might get you a little laminated card. Now, if you're good with numbers, you know, to do 70% of 70% of 2 at 95 yards, that's not too hard to do. You can do that in your head pretty quick. I just thought I would share this. You know, that's what I guess some of these little computer programs, you know, they make for ballistics calculators. That's what they're using. You know, they're using the sine function, but now there's some other things they're doing. You know, some of those things are more complicated with barometric pressure, temperature, sea level, you know, above sea level, altitude, all that good stuff. Hope you enjoyed.